Okay, hello, Tyler Bradden here, sitting, not standing. Hope everything's going well and you're having a great day. It's an exciting day for those of us in the generative AI space. The announcement came live, I think yesterday. I think that's the time I'll settle on. That the Stable Diffusion 2 is now live, and we got a big old image here to make that announcement, powerful. And in this, they've got an article. I've got a ton of links here. If you're interested, they'll be shared below the video, and then obviously on the website as always. Just massive growth overall developer option. They're trying to flex on this and see that growth. 33k stars in less than 2 months. And it's been a huge group of people contributing to the innovation in this space, which is obviously happening at rapid speed. Now, if you look at the original tweet, and I clicked on the wrong one, it's a bad start time, you can see that they really highlight several main improvements. One of them being sort of this text-to-image improvement with the actual output of the images itself, and then also the default resolution. So there's sort of higher resolution outputs that are being capable, and with that, the upscaling of that images. So it includes an upscale image that enhances the resolution of images 4 times, from 128 to 512. So obviously, high resolution, large images is something that is desired and necessary for most sort of use cases in this space, and Stability.Ai is delivering on this. Now, there's another great piece here, which is depth to image. Basically, it infers the depth of an input image and then generates new images using both text and depth information. There are a couple examples that you can see here that they've got flashing. They do a great job sort of promoting the actual depth, and then the sort of almost sort of in painting sort of method that they have, are filling faces within that same frame. And I think we're seeing some really creative use cases around this. I saw one which was like a telephone, and that telephone was dramatically improving almost as it was moving through sort of like the early versions of the time, phone to today's era kind of thing. So lots of opportunities for that. Along with this is sort of this in-painting model, which you can see, which makes super easy to switch out parts of an image intelligently and quickly. This was notable in a couple, versions, and was something highlighted, in dall-e a lot, but obviously a super popular version or super popular function within this application, and they've elaborated on it more. And that brings us back to GitHub, which you can actually check out here. I've got that. You can see that's actually hosted on a Hugging Face space, which is great. But let's see if I can click it. Oh, it looks like it might load this time. I was just in San Francisco, so it's on my mind, and I love looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, which I actually did not specify, but instead I said it's made of diamonds and sparkling from a beautiful sunset. And while that's loading, there's been some great sort of pieces, sort of doing a comparison using prompts from version 1 of Stable Diffusion and then version 2. So if you look at these two, a pretty significant increase in the actual quality there. Moving much more towards like a stock like version of the photo in higher resolution. You can really start to, less apparently see that this is being generated through systems like this. And obviously it's a super exciting thing, but moves us to a world where, maybe people fear the consequences here. Now, this is, I'm in queue, 43 out of 43, so at least I'm in the queue, as all the other things, all the other attempts before this video were an error. So excited to actually see that take place. Now, there were some I was reading this article, and one of the, more of the controversies of this is, basically, this open source model that Stable Diffusion and Stability.Ai, everyone sort of involved, really, advocates for this. But there's been some changes that have come with Stable Diffusion 2.0, which is that basically the ability to replicate artists is being limited. So one, for example, Greg Rudkowski, I should be able to say that right off the top, who had really good high quality images. That was basically a thing that you could put in the prompt. No longer it resembles that. And what Stable Diffusion has sort of done is remove artists from that data set and it looks like there is going to be some sort of function where they can opt in or opt out. But this was a huge sort of value proposition, or at least a way for people to get to the output of image that they want in a predictable, reliable way. And now that it's gone, but this is also where sort of the ethical challenge, the intellectual property challenges, emerge from Stable Diffusion. And at a core level, Stable Diffusion, Stability.Ai, all the teams here, they're taking investment, they're receiving money, and the de-risking of that investment means that they might have to, be considerate of copyright, intellectual challenges, and maybe it's also just an important thing to consider for the ethical application of this technology, which is moving at such a high speed that those consequences haven't been thought about as much. And while some people are annoyed at this change, maybe this is a good thing. And this has been one of the biggest sort of critiques levied at a system like this, is that they're using other artists' work, hard work, to generate the output, and that's been a big challenge to this entire thing. So there are some sort of always goes back to in my stock here. They said they have not removed, as many have speculated, which I just speculated, but they reduced the ability to copy artists is a result of changes made to how the software encodes. So I've edited myself as I'm reading this article. Super interesting, though, that people are having that experience. And, what the conspiracy theories are already beginning about how they've done this or why they've done this, along with the not safe for work output, which obviously people were creating images of all sorts. And he notes that this use case for filtering out NSFW content, it can't be in an open model. So they actually did do that in this case. They removed it. And already, some pushback from the space around censorship. And I think this leaves it to that there are, several leaders in this space. These leaders in this space, even the most open source version, is already making sort of curated decisions on how they train these data sets, how people can access to it. And then there is, revolting or deference or deviation from that. So too bad, Stable Diffusion, at least this sort of model, not allowing you to do that. That means that other people can go make their own versions, or as mentioned here, they can easily add it back into the data source so that they can continue to use Stable Diffusion in the not safe for work way that they want. And as I said here, sort of you'll be able to generate your favorite celeb naked soon in any way, and you already can. Now, a couple other things, that is, interesting here. Just overall, I think the reception has been strong so far. If you want to check out, I don't leave my video yet, I swear. Please don't do it. Just kidding. This guy's really good, and I love that he's using sort of generative AI. I watched this video before, and he actually opened this up and is doing some demos of it. So if you're more interested in the how-to function, you've got a good opportunity here, although it would impact my retention if you leave now. I'm still in the queue in this video, which is sad, so I'm going to hop into the actual original Stability.Ai announcement and just see if there's anything else to touch on there. We've obviously got some images using the 768 by 768 image resolution, which are super impactful. Generally, I think from I think of a image, I would like to see it sort of filled to the entire screen, and a lot of screens now are moving towards 2K or 4K. So when we get to that resolution, I think people will be super happy, but obviously huge size, server processing, things to consider when doing that. So Diffusion 2.0 can generate with the sort of text to image models using the upscale or diffusion model. That is actually possible, and I think, again, is a super valuable proposition. I'm still understanding the full sort of use cases of this sort of depth to image, but you can see, basically a dynamic output that's possible with an understanding of sort of the depth within it, and some super interesting outputs that come. We had seen that one on the video, the other piece here, the in painting, and then that is the end of the announcement. So a huge change with this, a big announcement. They're hiring researchers and engineers who are excited to work on the next generation of open source generative AI models. If you're interested, they've got a nice little thing. So if you are, career, CSV, and a short statement about yourself. I'm going to go back to my Hugging Face thing. I'm on 11 out of 49. Do we want to see if this renders? Do we wait? Will you wait with me? I will. I'm going to push through, I think, for a couple more minutes to see if this changes here at all, and see if there's a couple other notes that I think we're talking about here. We've got, sort of the top comment here on Reddit about nerfing the model, and it's basically interesting, like basically a massive step back that SD may never recover from. So while people are really enthusiastic about the quality, there is definitely concern about the artist being removed from the data set, which has been sort of disproven here. They didn't improve, they just removed the ability to write prompts to specify the artist by name. So if you write, if you write prompts in the style, it won't have any effect on the output, or it's minimal. So they've decreased the weight at a high level. So they haven't removed it, but they've de-weighted that or removed the output on it, and so really struggling. People are really struggling with that. Although again, sort of one of the reasons why people are critiquing this, although the quality overall is proved. I am stunned. This looks significantly worse in many categories across the board. It almost looks like you're limiting your training data, and it's a bad thing for AI. So. Interesting. I'm on 5 of 49 here now. We'll wait through this. We're going to see this image generate. I swear to God. And what we've got Danny Postman. And again, there are ways. So if we look at this GitHub, ways for you to tap this, if you're a little bit more code savvy, you have a couple options to then interact with this data, which have been shown already in a couple videos that are worthwhile checking out, and showing you basically the exact sort of little sort of script that's required. And they've done a fantastic job overall of just making this accessible, even if you're just playing around with code a little bit. There are options for you to interact with that data. If I was a smarter, more intelligent, driven person, I would be doing that on the call instead of waiting for stable diffusion here. But that is how life goes. That is how I spend my time as sort of a non-coder who loves this space. And I'm going to actually, seeing that I'm at 5 of 49, I know that I'm close on this queue, but I'm going to end this video now. Thank you.